Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I debated on doing this video tomorrow night since it would officially be a Wednesday, but I figured I would go ahead and do the top 10 countdown a couple of hours early. I used to always do them on Wednesday, but now it might be late Tuesday night or Wednesday. But today I want to do a video that I did a top 10 countdown on this same thing around this time last year. If you jump on here live, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so, and share the video on all social media platforms. Hey there, Marcus. I am absolutely fantastic, as always. Thank you, as always, for asking. But I want to do the top 10 most watched college football games viewership-wise in 2024. And as I said, I did one last year because you can do this every year because different teams play every year, so it's not going to be the same 10 games every year. A lot of times the same teams, just different opponents for the big-time teams. And I want you to follow along as I go and write down the numbers and viewership for each game, and then compare the numbers to the playoffs when the playoff TV viewership comes out to see how many more people are watching the playoffs. But number 10 was a game that was played back on week number 2, I believe, when everybody thought Michigan was going to be halfway decent. Texas and Michigan, 9.19 million. Number 9, Ohio State and Oregon, 9.6 million. Number 8, Ohio State and Penn State, 9.77 million. Number 7, Tennessee and Georgia, 9.96 million. And number 6, Alabama, Tennessee, and now we're over the 10 million mark at 10.23 million. Again, 10 through 6, Texas and Michigan, Ohio State and Oregon, Ohio State and Penn State, Tennessee and Georgia, and Alabama and Tennessee. And this is the 10 most watched college football games in 2024. Number 5, Penn State and Oregon, the Big Ten championship game, with 10.5 million. Number 4, Georgia and Alabama, 11.99 million. Number 3, Michigan, Ohio State, 12.3 million. Number 2, Georgia and Texas, 13.19 million. And number 1 was the Georgia and Texas SEC championship game, which was 16.6 million. And that's kind of strange because when Georgia and Texas played in the SEC championship, the game really didn't matter because both teams were in the playoffs no matter who won that game. Marcus, I think the Falcons should go to Michael Penix Jr. They should have gone to Michael Penix Jr. back in about week number 2 because Kirk Cousins sucks. But I've talked about this a few times in some of the videos I've done. They kind of put themselves in a pickle because you didn't sign Kirk Cousins to be a backup quarterback. You don't sign somebody to a contract like that who's always been a starter to come in there and make that kind of money as your backup. But this day and time, when teams draft quarterbacks in the top 5, top 10, for the most part, first round, usually, you're drafting that quarterback to be your starter right away. So no matter what they do now, they look stupid because you signed Kirk Cousins to that huge contract to not be a backup. but you also didn't draft Michael Penix Jr. in the top 10 to be a backup. So no matter what they do now, they look stupid, and I'm really not sure why they signed Kirk Cousins. Even if Michael Penix Jr. is not any good, I still like him better than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a stat stuffer. I've always thought that, and I'll always think that. He's going to play good enough against bad teams to get you in the playoffs most years, and then every time he gets you there, first round, you're going to get beat. And that's all you're going to do. And when somebody's done that for as long as Kirk Cousins has done that, he's showing you what he is. He's going to play good enough against crappy teams to get you in the playoffs most years, and then it's going to be a first-round exit every year. That's all he's ever going to do. And with Michael Penix Jr., you don't know what he can do. But it's better to find out than to wait, because with Kirk Cousins, you know what he's going to do. So the whole thing makes no sense to me, because you had no reason to draft Michael Penix Jr. that high if he was going to be your backup. And if Michael Penix Jr. is going to be your starter, then why did you sign Kirk Cousins to be your starter? Now, if you bench Kirk Cousins, then it's, oh my gosh, we're paying the quarterback $40 million to sit on the bench, and you look stupid. But if you don't bench Kirk Cousins, then it's, oh my gosh, we're playing this guy, and he sucks. So no matter what you do, you look stupid. But the Falcons have showed for years that their front office has no idea what they're doing, because years ago they traded half their team to get Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a good player, but when you trade 10 people to get one player, it doesn't work, and it held the Falcons back for years. And then here recently, more recently, they drafted Kyle Pitts to be a receiver, but yet they never throw the ball to him. And a lot of folks are saying he's a bust, but I can't really say he's a bust, because he's not dropping passes. He's not staying hurt. He's on the field. They just don't use him. Why did you draft Kyle Pitts that high to go out there and essentially be an extra offensive lineman? It makes no sense. So even though the Falcons have changed general managers, they still look like they have no idea how to run a football team. And that's why I wasn't sold on firing Arthur Smith, because I didn't think Arthur Smith was the problem. And now they're showing that Arthur Smith was not the problem. But at least with Arthur Smith, he had a play sheet in his hand. So it looked like he was doing something. Even if he wasn't, he looked like he was. With Raheem Morris, he stands on the sideline, doesn't hold a play sheet, doesn't hold a clipboard, never talks in the headset, never talks to the players. He just stands there like a statue for 3 hours. You can't convince me that Raheem Morris does anything on game day, because if he does, I ain't seen it. So at least with Arthur Smith, he was trying something. Raheem Morris just stands there. And I wasn't the biggest Arthur Smith fan, but if you give me the option of Arthur Smith or Raheem Morris, I'm taking Arthur Smith all day long, because I've seen Raheem Morris as a head coach before, and he sucked. And the same problem he had before is what he's doing now. He just stands there and does absolutely nothing. Doesn't show any emotion, any fire, any passion, any hint of doing anything on game day. And Rab, I'm not sure who Billy G is, but hopefully you wrote down all those top 10 countdown numbers, so that when the playoffs start and they're finished and the TV ratings come out, you can compare the TV ratings from the regular season to the TV ratings of the playoffs. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Eye drops are basically blinker fluid. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Hey there, Markel. Hey there, Chris. Y'all come back next time we go live.